Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another breakdown, and that special time of year has arrived. Are you excited? It is Super Bowl ad season, and it really is the Oscars of commercial cinematography, and it is the one opportunity for everybody involved, the crew, everyone, cinematographer, director, everybody. It doesn't matter where you spend most of your time the rest of the year, you could be making the most amazing feature films, but you get that one opportunity for the Super Bowl ad season where you just get to say, you know what, I don't care. This one is for the beach house. And you get lots of crazy high-level cinematographers just doing all sorts of weird ads. So we're going to look at them, the good, the bad, and we're going to start with this one for, I think it is Rocket Mortgage. Let's dive in. And we got a little house, a gigantic bedroom, right? Looks like they live in the living room. And Tracy Morgan, everything is fast with Tracy Morgan. And was that a shot of the ceiling in the background? Pan, hello, faint. Jump out the window, VFX, yay. Everybody on the schedule's loving the green screen shots, right? Those are easy days. And backlight for the win, pan, and guy from Marvel, and confusion. And you see where this is going, right? We're really gonna talk about the main part, which is, hopefully you didn't miss it, holy fill light, right? Look at that, somebody lost a bet. How many kilowatts can we pump into a single scene? And ta-da, yay, flying. And we're back. And everyone is happy. And are we ready for the phone shot? Yes, we are. See, you doubted me. You think I over-exaggerate. If you cannot do this shot quickly in today's world, it is in, I think it's in almost every commercial that we're going to look at from the Super Bowl. This exact angle, right? People that have cash, they got things to say. And usually they say it with their phones. So if you're not good at that shot, get ready. Because there's quite a few different elements that are in here that we probably won't get to in this video. But if you've seen any of the other stuff, you know the credit card shot comes up all the time. So where we're going to focus most of our attention is right here. Okay, first of all, everybody knows who this is, right? This is the first AD. And you can tell just by the first AD has a certain walk, right? They get tired of the extras, right? They start to get annoyed that the extras aren't getting the right timing with the third AD on set. It's like, no, you're not getting the timing right. Listen, you got to walk right now, and you got to do it just like this. And if you've ever been on a set with a first AD who think they can act, well, then you have seen awkward in its truest form, right? That is a first AD walk. He's still got the piece of paper, right? That's still the schedule, right? Some old first AD that doesn't use an iPad. And ta-da, there he is, right? So, number one, this is an enormous bedroom. Like I said, it looks like they're living in their living room compared to the size of the house. But, okay, so we're on a stage, right? We're on a studio. And you can usually tell studio, we've talked about this in previous videos, you can tell studio stuff because they'll often overcompensate with the lighting to make it feel like, oh, we really couldn't control that. Look at how hot it is out there. We didn't have full control, right? So let's heat it up a little bit. Other things, I mean, this is just an enormous bedroom. So you're probably not gonna get this size, this focal length, this far away from the talent, but you still have to be able to position people inside of a scene to be able to use the framework lighting, right? The whole framework idea, it really starts with positioning the talent inside of a location and then using that to maximize the light that you have. So we're going to talk about exactly why the family lands here. Why don't they land over here? You're going to say, well, because they have to talk to Tracy in the bathroom. And, you know, your logic wins. That is true as well. But it serves a really big purpose for the lighting, especially having this window here, right? And there's another window over there for the background of this flip shot. Do you think that was a plan? I hope. Okay, so what are we looking at? Why do they have to land here? Okay, well, number one, let's get through this first shot. Right? Okay, we don't fit our ceiling in, but you're going to see the ceiling in a second. We've got lots of corners to the rooms. We are lighting this up, yeah, okay, but look at the amount of fill light or top light that is coming in down on this set, right? There is a lot of ambient, and these are all really controlled. You know, even the hot spots are quite controlled, but really it's the lines in here, first AD walking by, being on this longer focal length where you're able to compress all of the space, right? If you're in a real house like this, you have to start shooting really wide, it becomes very hard to get this level of room tone inside of the room because the room is either so small or you have to be on such a wide lens you end up seeing more roof. So this is nice to be just a little bit further back when you're inside the studio. And let's go full screen. Can I do it first time? Is it going to be a good day? No, it didn't work at all. Okay, so we got first AD walking by. We got curtain and shears. We've seen the corner of the room, actually both sides of the corner of the room. And then we're getting these angles like this little desk here that just make it easier for us to create some depth, okay? So they walk and they stop. And I like this, right? Anytime you can get these layers in, especially when you're looking at a flat wall behind them, it's nice to have these little layers in here to just thicken things up and create a little bit more depth. Where is that hard light coming from? Good question. And we come out, and you already start to see the benefit of the shears in the background, right? We're not having to worry about the level of the exteriors. When you're working on a stage, even easier, because then you just light up the shears just a little bit. But we got curtains, then shears. We're looking into, this is the L of the room, right? This is corner, gives you depth this way, and then you get that flatness in the background, which we are mixing up by using light to dark, right? These curtains, then shears, curtains, then shears, just salt and peppers the back of the room. We do see a little bit of the ceiling, right? And you know the production designer, the art director would have been pumped about that. So how do you get that? Well, you just lower the camera and you look slightly up, right? Makes sense because Tracy Morgan's in the bathroom. But what are we getting from them stopping in this original spot? Well, now we can, because we've seen this here, right? Okay, so this is mostly top light and something coming through the little bathroom door here. There's a lot of level coming through here. You can feel it on her face. And then it's the room tone top light that is coming from above. But really what we're trying to sell is that this light here is going to turn into our key light. This window is going to sell our key light for every other angle except for this one. And that's why it's important that they stop there, because look what happens. Ta-da! Yes, we'll put the gentleman in the worst spot, right? Because he's going to have the harshest looking light because he's got to look this way the furthest. We'll put our mom in the best spot. She's going to be front and center. Also, she's pretty good. This lady, it's going to be very key that she steps into the right spot, because if she stays there, flat and boring, and we don't want that. So she has to step out just enough to get into the light. But really, look at what we've got here on mom, because that is really our hero for the lighting. We've got key from over there. We've got just enough to reach over to the other eye. And then we have this little tiny edge light, right, which just picks her out. So she's getting all of the elements that we've added into the framework. She's getting the real benefit. I mean, you see a little bit on Dad, but just his position on his face. It's kind of nice when you have multiple faces inside of the frame, because you can see just how moving somebody 1 or 2 feet to the left or right of the lighting makes a big difference. And then the orientation of his face relative to the source over here. It just makes it so much starker that he's looking, you know, what is that, like 10 degrees difference between her face looking straight at the camera and him just being slightly angled. But that is why they stop where they do, because we want to sell that window as our key light, okay? And as we come in, back to Tracy Morgan, and you're going to notice this is the slash across the back of the room, just because we have to make it interesting, right? It's really flat. There's not much to it. At least it's not completely white walled, right? You have this little tiny variance in there. And then we want corners of things. So we're going to have corner of the door. We're going to have corner of this little thing back here. And then we're just trying to make it interesting, right? Trying to make it not flat and not boring. But it's really this angle, so it's kind of dark in this side of the bathroom. That's not a big deal. This is, again, what are you doing? Don't you just step out. Come this way, please. And I think she does later on. Okay, confusion. And then we'll skip all the way to the back, this was the one I was talking about. Man, look at so we got all the sun is hitting back there, right? See the shadow on this side, sun on this side of the building? Look at how much light they are pumping back into this scene, right? Oh my gosh, that is a ton of light. Boom. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, we come back here, we're back into the room, and now, again, we're on this side of the line, and finally we got her to step out a little bit so she can get hit with the light. You can see it in her eyeballs. But really, we've positioned this family and played it on this side of the line. Imagine this whole scene from the other side of the line. Just one small change, and this looks completely different. Everything gets so much flatter. And here again, we're into the L of the room, little bit of ceiling, shooting along that wall, lighting up the shears to what we want them to, set the room tone, add the key, put in the little edge light here, set the darkness this way with some neg, and you're off and running. And this is really, really simple, right? But it looks great. Okay, they're not in a house. Same thing for this angle, right? We don't change anything. As long as we never see the window in any of this coverage, any of this stuff along the line, well, then we're winning, right? Even for him, looks great. Tracy Morgan, looks great. Getting all the same benefit over here. You get the eye light. So you get the eye light in this situation where you're probably not doing too much from inside the room. Maybe you're wrapping a little bit around, right? Feels like there's a little bit of something on this side of his face. But really, you just set the way that he is looking and where he is looking so that you get those little tiny eye lights, right? Which is really, really nice. And then, of course, you get the depth here in the background, which is always good. And we come out to here. Okay, look at how much the lighting has changed, right? Significantly softer on all of the people here or significant, not softer, but less level, right? Tons of level there and not a lot of level there. And then this one, okay, we will talk about this real quick. You got the slash in the background. That is not an accident, right? You need to make this thing as interesting as you can, even though it's blobby. You got Tracy Morgan back there behind the phone, adding that bit of darkness. There's a little bit of light up there on him. Again, just figuring out how you can pepper in interest in the background and then use layers in the foreground. So we've got cheek, then outfit, and then the hand goes up over this way and the light flows over. Right? We're gonna look at this, I think 4 or 5 times in the next few weeks, and you're gonna see it time and time again. This is really, the way to make it look nice is this side, right? Shoot on the shadow side, shoot into the light, soften it up at your, really until it meets your desired taste and you're done. Super simple to do. So do we do any more in there? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's our look. When you're positioning talent, especially if you're on a stage where you have all of the options available to you, just look for those opportunities. Where can we then, after the wide shot, right? Because you might be in a hard spot for the wide. There's no place to hide lights or anything like that. So things can be a little bit looser, a little bit flatter. But then when we go in for the coverage, make sure that you're positioning the talent so that you can use the framework ideas, where you can pepper all those in. If you know them in advance, which you should, if you know them in advance what you're going to try and do, well, then the wide becomes really easy. You eliminate so many choices by saying, okay, what am I going to use during the coverage? Where's the light going to come from? Where does it have to come from? What's going to make sense for the softness that I need, for the amount of people that are in the frame? And quickly, you will find your results getting significantly better. So that's just one little tip of how, what could have been a fairly boring and dull commercial, you still get as much shape, right? You squeeze as much shape out of every image that you possibly can. So many thanks for checking it out, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye.